Sometimes, the past doesn't fade, it waits. And when the wind shifts, the truth buried in the soil rises again. What did she really find in that old village? And why did everyone try to keep it a secret? The evening sky over New York glowed with a fading orange hue. Sunlight reflected off the tall buildings, spilling gold across the glass windows. The city seemed alive, but inside her apartment, silence ruled. She stood by the window, holding an old photograph in her trembling hand. The picture showed a man, smiling, gentle, and lost in time. The corners of the photo were worn, as if touched too many times by longing fingers. The faint aroma of coffee drifted through the air. The ticking clock on the wall echoed softly, steady and slow. Time was moving forward, yet her heart remained somewhere in the past. Rain began to fall, tapping gently against the glass. He had always loved the rain. He once told her that the light in the rain was the warmest light in the world. She closed her eyes. For a moment, it felt like he was still there. Then came a sound, faint footsteps in the hallway outside. Her heart pounded against her ribs. She turned toward the door, breath shaking. The old wooden door creaked slightly, as if someone was standing behind it. Her hand trembled as she placed the photo on the table. The room flickered, the lights dimmed for a second. Outside, thunder rolled across the city skyline. She walked slowly toward the door, one cautious step at a time. The cold metal of the doorknob sent a chill through her skin. She took a deep breath and turned it. The door opened to darkness. Only the faint glow from the streetlights slipped through. A man's shadow stood motionless on the doorstep. Her heartbeat grew louder, almost painful. The sound of heavy rain mixed with the hum of the city below. The air smelled of wet asphalt and salt, and faintly, the old perfume he once wore. It was him. His face looked pale, almost ghostly. Yet his eyes still carried that same light, the light she once fell in love with. He did not speak. He only reached out, handing her a brown envelope. There was a trace of blood on his fingers. She hesitated before taking it. Their eyes met for a brief moment. And just then, lightning flashed, bright, blinding, cutting through the night. When her vision cleared, he was gone. Only the rain remained, and the envelope trembling in her hands. Her hands shook as she looked down at the envelope. The brown paper was soaked by the rain, edges torn, stained with blood. Her heart pounded harder. She could still feel his warmth on the paper, as if he had been standing there only a moment ago. She closed the door slowly, her mind spinning. Everything inside the apartment felt unfamiliar. The walls, the photographs, even the air. It was as if time had suddenly split open, and the past had walked back into her present. She placed the envelope on the table and stared at it. Water dripped from her hair onto the floor. The sound of the rain outside grew louder, hitting the window like desperate whispers. Her fingers hesitated, trembling, before she tore the envelope open. Inside, there was a single folded page and a small, old-fashioned key. The paper was wrinkled and smelled faintly of sea salt and dust. She unfolded it carefully, her eyes scanning the uneven handwriting. It was his handwriting. Greater than, if you were reading this, it means I finally found the courage to face the truth. I never wanted to leave you, but I had no choice. There are things I cannot undo, things that could have destroyed you. I tried to keep you safe, even if it meant losing everything. Her breath caught in her throat. Tears blurred her vision, but she kept reading. Greater than, the key belongs to the old lighthouse in Maine, the one we visited years ago. Go there at dawn. You will find something that belongs to both of us. If I am not there, look for the light. The words burned into her heart like a wound reopening. She sat there, frozen, the sound of the rain filling the silence between her sobs. He had been alive all this time, hiding, protecting her, suffering in silence. She looked again at the key. It was cold, rusty, and heavy with memory. The lighthouse, she remembered that day. The sky had been clear, the sea calm, and he had told her that love, like light, never truly disappears. It only travels until someone else finds it. Now, years later, the same light was calling her back. She packed a small bag, camera, notebook, and the letter. The rain had turned into a storm by the time she reached her car. The city streets glistened with reflections of red and blue lights from passing cars. Every corner seemed to whisper his name. The drive to Maine felt endless. Night swallowed the road ahead, and the wipers struggled against the sheets of rain. Every mile brought back memories, their laughter, their promises, the way his eyes caught the morning light. By dawn, she reached the coast. The storm had faded into a soft drizzle. Mist floated above the sea, and the lighthouse stood alone at the edge of the cliff, silent and ancient. She stepped out of the car, holding the key tightly. The wind smelled of salt and damp wood. The door to the lighthouse was old but unlocked. It creaked open, revealing narrow stairs winding upward into the tower. Her footsteps echoed in the emptiness. Each step felt heavier, each heartbeat louder. Halfway up, she noticed faint marks on the wall, scratched initials. Their initials, carved long ago. Her breath caught. She touched the letters with her fingertips, feeling the years between then and now. At the top, the glass room was dim, dust floating like ghostly particles in the weak morning light. The great lamp was broken, shattered by time. But there, on a small wooden table near the window, lay a metal box. She unlocked it with the key. Inside, she found a bundle of letters tied together with a faded red ribbon. Her name was written on the first one. She unfolded the top letter carefully. His words felt alive, like his voice was whispering beside her. Greater than, I watched you from afar. I saw you fight your way through pain and silence. Every day I wanted to come back, but I knew they were still watching me. I did what I had to do to keep you safe. I never stopped loving you, not even for a second. Her tears fell on the paper, smudging the ink. Wind howled through the broken glass, scattering dust across the floor. She looked out toward the sea, and froze. Down by the shore, near the rocks, she saw something. A figure. Someone standing motionless in the mist, facing the ocean. Her heart skipped. The outline looked familiar, tall, lean, with the same posture she had known so well. She ran down the stairs, her pulse racing, the letters clutched in her hand. The cold air hit her face as she reached the beach. The mist thickened, curling around her legs. She called his name, once, twice, again. No answer. She kept running, her shoes sinking into the wet sand. The sound of waves crashing mixed with the wild beating of her heart. Then, through the mist, she saw him again. Standing near the rocks, coat flapping in the wind. She slowed down. Her breath came out in white clouds. He turned slightly, just enough for her to see his face. It was him, but his eyes, they were different. Empty, as if looking through her, not at her. Her body the sky was turning pale as the first rays of dawn touched the horizon. The storm had passed, leaving the sea calm and endless. She sat near the lighthouse steps, the bundle of letters resting in her lap, the pages fluttering softly in the cool morning breeze. The air carried the faint scent of salt and wildflowers. Above her, the great light continued to turn, steady, peaceful, eternal. She looked at it and smiled faintly, her eyes filled with both grief and calm. All her life she had searched for answers. Now she realized that love did not need to be found. It had always been with her, in the letters, in the memories, in every moment she had dared to keep hope alive. She stood and walked toward the edge of the cliff. The sea stretched before her, glowing in gold and silver hues. She opened one of his letters, the last one, the one she had not yet read. Greater than, if you ever find the light again, do not look for me. Just live. That will be enough for me to stay beside you, always. Her lips trembled as she read those words. Tears filled her eyes, but they were gentle tears, not of pain, but release. She folded the letter carefully and held it against her heart. A flock of seagulls rose from the rocks below, their wings catching the sunlight. The wind brushed through her hair, whispering softly like his voice once did. She closed her eyes and let the sound of the sea surround her. In that moment, she felt it, a warmth, faint but real, wrapping around her like a quiet embrace. It was not the touch of the past, but the comfort of peace. She whispered, "Thank you for the light." Then she turned away from the sea and walked back toward the lighthouse. Behind her, the sun had fully risen, and the light, their light, shone brighter than ever, casting one last golden reflection across the waves. The camera slowly pulled back, showing the woman, the lighthouse, and the wide ocean stretching into infinity. A soft voice echoed through the final frame. Some love stories never fade. They simply become light, guiding those who still believe.